Welcome back to Investing Talk podcast. Today, we're going to kind of take a closer look at Transocean.
Right.
You sent over some really interesting stuff about them, and
Yeah,
it seems like there's a lot to unpack here.
there is.
So,
Absolutely.
our goal today is to really figure out what's the most important stuff for you to know
Right.
about this company right now.
Yeah, we've got some material here covering technical analysis, a general overview of the company, and some stock analysis of Transocean. Looks like we've got info on how the stock's been moving, their financial health, how the market feels about them, and what the future might hold.
Okay.
Let's get into it.
So, to get us started, Transocean is a big player in offshore drilling. They're really focused on the tough stuff,
Yeah,
deep water and harsh environments.
right.
So these guys are leasing out their drilling rigs to the big oil and gas companies. Think of them as the specialized rental company for ocean drilling equipment.
What's notable is that specialization.
Oh,
They aren't operating in just any offshore waters. Their niche is the really deep ocean and places with particularly challenging conditions.
okay.
This focus can be a real advantage, but also means they're particularly exposed to the demands of those specific types of projects.
Now looking at the stock price, it's definitely been on a wild ride. Over the past year, we've seen it swing quite a bit from a low of $2.22 up to $5.20 in some recent periods. The broader 52-week range was even wider,
Wow.
from 445 to 888. Interestingly, one of the sources mentioned a price of 272 on April 3rd, 2025, showing a pretty sharp drop on that single day.
Huh.
Other recent reports have it around 503, then 316, and even back down to that 222 level again. So you can really see the volatility there.
That kind of significant price movement suggests a stock where investor sentiment can change pretty rapidly,
Yeah.
likely influenced by news specific to the company and also broader trends within the energy market. The fact that we have different recent price points reported also emphasizes how much the price can fluctuate
Yeah.
in a short period.
Right.
So for you, this level of volatility means that potential gains could be significant,
Yeah.
but so could potential losses.
Let's talk about how much trading is going on. The volume.
Okay.
The average daily volume is around 17.8 million shares. But we've seen recent days with lower volume in the 5 to 6 million range. Now, here's something interesting. Those big price swings we just talked about. They've tended to happen on days with much higher trading volume.
Mhm.
It looks like when the price makes a big move, a lot of people are buying or selling.
That's a really insightful point.
Mm-hmm.
When high volume accompanies significant price changes, it often suggests stronger conviction behind the move. It could indicate either a rush to sell based on negative news or enthusiastic buying pressure. The lower volume we've seen more recently, despite the stock's history of volatility, might suggest a period where investors are less certain about the immediate direction.
Now, if we look at some of the technical indicators, the stock price is currently below both its short-term 50-day and longer-term 200-day moving averages. Those averages are sitting around 450 and 550 respectively.
Okay.
Generally speaking, when a stock is below these averages, it can suggest a downward or bearish trend. So the recent trend lines seem to be pointing down.
Thinking about what moving averages represent for you, imagine them as smoothing out the day-to-day noise in the price to show you the overall direction. Being below both the 50-day and the 200-day can indicate that the stock has been experiencing more downward momentum than upward momentum in both the short and longer term.
However, it's not all pointing in one direction. The Relative Strength Index, or RSI, has been in what's considered the oversold region, somewhere between 30 and 40. This often suggests that the stock might have been sold off too aggressively and could be due for a bit of a recovery, a bounce. Also, the TTM squeeze indicator has shown some positive crosses,
Okay.
which can sometimes hint at potential upward price movement. But then on the other hand, the Massey indicator is showing a bearish crossover. So we've got some conflicting signals here.
What makes this interesting is how these different indicators offer potentially different perspectives. An oversold RSI can signal that the intense selling pressure might be easing, and a price correction upwards could be coming.
Right.
The TTM squeeze suggesting positive crosses also points to a buildup of energy that might resolve in an upward move. However, the MACD's bearish crossover suggests that the underlying trend might still favor downward movement. So for you, this means you can't rely on just one indicator. You need to consider the whole picture and understand that technical analysis can provide potential signals, not guarantees.
Let's switch gears and look at the financials. For 2024, the company reported a net loss of $512 million. And that included some significant write-downs of their assets. They also have a substantial amount of debt, over $6 billion. Now, it's not all bad news financially. They do have a healthy backlog of $8.3 billion, which gives them some visibility into future revenue. But those high interest expenses on the debt and their general operational costs are definitely acting as headwinds.
When we think about how this impacts a company's future, that backlog of contracted revenue is a positive sign of demand for their services.
Right.
However, the significant net loss and the sheer size of the debt are critical factors. Those high interest payments can really impact profitability,
Yeah.
even if they are bringing in substantial revenue from their contracts. So for you, it's important to consider whether that backlog is enough to overcome these financial challenges in the long run.
So there are some pretty clear warning signs here. That high level of debt and the fact that they are still reporting losses are concerning. We also have to consider the potential for an oversupply of drilling rigs in the market, which could put downward pressure on the rates they can charge for their services. If there are more rigs available than companies need, then the price for those rigs will likely go down.
That potential for rig oversupply is a really important point in the cyclical industry like energy. Demand for drilling services isn't constant, and if there are too many rigs chasing too few projects, Transocean might find it harder to maintain or increase their day rates, which would directly impact their profitability even with that existing backlog.
On the other hand, it's not all negative. Transocean does have a leading fleet of really advanced drilling rigs, and they report high rates of utilization, meaning their rigs are being used. They are also focusing on technological innovations.
Okay.
This could allow them to command higher day rates compared to some of their competitors who might have older or less capable equipment. So they have the premium tools, and they are getting work.
The fact that they have these advanced rigs and a high utilization rate suggests that they are well positioned for the more complex, higher margin deepwater projects. Their investment in technology could also be a key differentiator, allowing them to secure contracts that less advanced rigs can't handle, potentially justifying those higher day rates you mentioned.
When we look at how Transocean compares to some of its competitors like Noblecore, Valaris, and Seadrill, it seems that Transocean's strength really lies in those high specification rigs. However, it's worth noting that some of these competitors have actually shown better performance in their stock prices recently.
hmm
So even though Transocean might have a strong operational advantage in terms of their equipment, that hasn't necessarily translated into better returns for investors lately compared to some of their peers.
This difference in stock performance raises questions about what factors the market is currently prioritizing. While Transocean's advanced fleet is a definite asset, investors might be more focused on balance sheet strength, profitability, or even broader market sentiment towards different companies in the sector. It highlights that having the best technology doesn't automatically guarantee the best stock performance.
It seems like market sentiment around Transocean is a bit of a mixed bag. News articles highlight their strong position in that deepwater drilling niche, but they also point out those financial health concerns we talked about. Analysts who follow the company seem to be taking a somewhat cautious approach overall.
That cautious stance from analysts likely reflects the inherent uncertainty created by the combination of their strong operational footing and those significant financial headwinds. The market appears to be acknowledging their potential in a specific area of the industry, while remaining concerned about their ability to manage their debt and achieve sustained profitability.
Looking to the future, any potential increase in spending on deepwater oil and gas projects could be a significant positive for Transocean, given their specialization. Of course, we also have to keep in mind potential regulatory changes in the energy sector and the general ups and downs of the overall market. For Transocean specifically, their efforts to reduce that debt and to continue innovating technologically are going to be really important for their future success.
If we consider the broader energy landscape, an uptick in deepwater exploration and production would certainly play to Transocean's strengths. However, the energy sector is constantly evolving in terms of regulations and market dynamics, which introduces both opportunities and risks.
Right.
Their ability to strategically manage their debt and maintain a technological edge will be crucial in navigating this evolving environment.
One of the sources reminded us that Transocean acquired Ocean Rig
Yeah.
back in 2018, and that was seen as a pretty strategic move at the time. We also can't forget past events like the Deepwater Horizon oil spill in 2010,
Okay.
which had a really long-lasting impact on the regulations governing the offshore drilling industry and also on investor confidence in the sector. Those kinds of big historical events definitely still have an influence today.
Thinking about the longer-term perspective, that Ocean Rig acquisition, likely broadened Transocean's fleet and their market presence. Events like the Deepwater Horizon disaster serve as a constant reminder of the significant environmental and safety risks inherent in offshore drilling. And those risks continue to shape the regulatory landscape and how investors view companies
Right.
in this industry.
Finally, looking at valuation, one source has put an estimated fair value for the stock around $4.21. However, they also give the stock a high uncertainty rating. What that suggests is that the current trading price might not be accurately reflecting what the company is truly worth. And there's a lot of speculation involved in trying to figure that out right now.
That high uncertainty rating really underscores the complexities we've been discussing. The discrepancy between the current price and that estimated fair value, coupled with the uncertainty, suggests that there are a lot of unknowns about Transocean's future prospects, and that different analysts might have very different opinions on its intrinsic worth, based on their assumptions.
So if we try to bring all of this together for you, what we're seeing is a company that has a strong operational presence in a very specialized and demanding part of the offshore drilling market. However, they are also facing some significant financial challenges, particularly that high level of debt,
Right.
and their stock price has been quite volatile. The technical indicators we looked at give us a mixed picture, with some suggesting a potential short-term bounce, but the overall trend still looking bearish.
What's key to understand is that this isn't a straightforward investment decision. There are compelling reasons to be both optimistic and cautious based on the information we've reviewed.
Right.
This really highlights the importance of carefully considering your own investment goals and how much risk you're comfortable taking.
So what does this all mean for you as you're looking at Transocean? It seems to present a situation with both potential opportunities and very real risks. That strong backlog and their advanced fleet of rigs are definitely positives. But you can't ignore the significant debt and the recent losses. The fact that we're seeing different price points and varying opinions across the sources really emphasizes the uncertainty surrounding the stock right now.
This leads to a really important question for you to think about. How do you balance the potential for significant returns in a volatile sector like this against the very real financial risks that we've outlined in these sources? It's a question of finding the right balance for your own investment strategy.
Thanks for letting us take a closer look at Transocean with you. If you found this kind of analysis helpful, please subscribe to the podcast, give us a like, and leave a comment with any other areas or companies you'd be interested in us exploring in the future.